wetu ni wa nambari 111. Ladies and gentlemen, you're most welcome to this 111th meeting of Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club. It's a pleasure and a great privilege to host all of you here on this virtual stage, ready to soar. And this is where we help you to reach the apex of your speaking journey in this Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club. We have many guests and we are so happy to have you with us, including Samson Makori that has just mentioned. It's been a long time since we have been in the trenches together, and here we are yet again. I will invite the ones joining us today for the first time in a long time. Just say hi and tell us where you're joining us from, and then we will proceed to the next order of business. We recommend so much that you are on video whenever you are speaking, and indeed at all other appropriate times. Let's start with Samson. He's on video.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali Makori. Are you a DTM now? I don't know. It's been a while. Almost. You're definitely way closer than I am. For those that have not met, my name is Samson Makori. Cumulatively, I've been in Toastmasters for close to 10 years. My first club was Downtown Toastmasters, joined in 2014, moved on to Anchored. I was part of a group called Roadmasters. We used to go around helping set up clubs, one of them being Thika, and presently I am a member of the Thika Toastmasters Club. It's great to be here. I've had wonderful things and I'm looking forward to an exhilarating meeting.
Fabulous. Felix Akonde.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Felix Akonde. I'm joining all the way from the leafy suburbs of Karen Toastmasters, where I serve as the current president. And it was a fortuitous event that brought me here today. Kevin Rubia contacted me and told me he wanted me to take on a role at Wataburuku Bilingual. And the first time here, I couldn't say no. Therefore, I'm glad to be here, and greetings all the way from Karen, and I can't wait to get started.
Thank you indeed. And Toastmaster Serah Wanjiku. Serah is a member now of this club, I must tell you, but this is among the first few meetings as a member. Is it your second meeting as a member?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. So welcome and say hello to the guests and the older members as well.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali. How are you, Wataburuku? It's an honor doing this fellowship with you this evening. I know it's Friday evening. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here with us, and we cannot underappreciate that. So thank you very much for being with us, and over to you, Ali.
Thank you very much. My old friend, Nelly Ayodo. We have also been in the trenches together at Nairobi. I think she's still in Nairobi. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate to be here. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening. Still at Nairobi?
I'm at Nairobi, and I'm also at Leadership Speak.
Fantastic, fantastic. Erick Opon, welcome. No response from Toastmaster Opon. Lucy Manyara, kindly say hi.
Good evening. I'm in a dark place, as you can see. I am Lucy Manyara from Rafiki Toastmasters Club, and we meet at Gong Hills Hotel. Asante. Thank you. This is my first time here, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
most welcome, Toastmaster Lucy Manyara. You are in a dark place, but your face is bright. It's shining like the moon
bright.
itself, which is good.
Okay.
No, it's bright in the right manner.
Okay.
Toastmaster Opon, you're back. Say hello.
Oh, hello, everyone. And good evening. Welcome to today's meeting at Wataburuku Toastmasters Club. My name is Erick Opon. I am a member of Smart Speak Toastmasters. We meet at Parkland Sports Club the same week as Wataburuku, but we meet on the Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's my first time here. I hope we'll have a lovely time together.
Fantastic. We look forward to that. Japheth, Musau, DTM, welcome.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to be with you this evening. I think this is my second time since Wataburuku became an advanced club. So I'm looking forward to a wonderful time. It's always fulfilling to be among such serious Toastmasters at an advanced level. So I'm happy to be here. Looking forward.
Most welcome. Most welcome. We normally used to call the person who was district director last year iPad. I think it's still the same. Immediate past district director.
IPDD. iPad.
Oh, IPDD. Nice to have you with us, IPDD. We also have Syria Rama. Syria Rama, please say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Syria. Joining us from which club again?
Joining you from Lerai Toastmasters Club in Nairobi, Westlands area.
Fantastic. Then we have Toastmaster, is it Janie Mule DTM? Welcome. I think you're joining us for this third time or so, and we really appreciate it. Say hello.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Well, I've been around here a couple of times, but it's always a pleasure to come to Wataburuku. I've always said I need to improve my Kiswahili, and now I need to just be advanced. So thank you, and it's good to see everybody.
Most welcome. Let's finish with two more, maybe others we will invite them later. We have Lori C. Lori C, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lori from Lerai.
Fantastic.
Yes, I just saw the post and a bit curious, and it's my first time here. I just want to see what normally goes on before I can say I'll take a role next time. I saw on the registration you're asking whether you're interested in taking a role. So I felt, no, this time let me see what goes on. Then next time I'll be sure to take a role. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you and most welcome. We're happy to have you. Let's finish and allow more visitor observations and greetings later. We finalize this session with Leah Minja. Leah Minja, welcome to the set and say hello and tell us where you're joining us from.
Good evening.
Good evening, Leah.
It is a pleasure to join in this wonderful meeting. I am joining from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I am from Dar Toastmasters, the Vice President in membership. I look forward to an insightful meeting. Thank you and over to you.
Fantastic. Most welcome. We are really, really happy to have you. Indeed, this is an international platform where you can join us from any corner of the globe. Now, without further ado, and with a reminder that we invite you to encourage our speakers by having your video on, I want to invite our Toastmaster of the evening. Toastmaster of the day is none other than Dr. Kevin Rubia, an indefatigable Toastmaster who I'm sure all of you know very well. He is also a member of the executive committee, vice president membership of this fantastic Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club. And today he is taking us through this meeting number 111, those 3 repeated numbers. Toastmaster Dr. Kevin Rubia, welcome and take it away.
Much obliged, our club secretary, treasurer, and presiding officer of this fortuitous meeting this evening. I say it's fortuitous because Wataburuku has had a long history of challenges and triumphs, and this is an opportunity for us once again to develop ourselves as public speakers and as leaders, and I do not take it for granted. As you've heard, I am your Toastmaster of the day, and for those of us who are new to Toastmasters, our Toastmaster of the day is the meeting host. I will run the meeting together with a team of players who have taken upon themselves to develop these leadership and public speaking skills that I mentioned earlier. One way of being an effective leader and communicator is by being persuasive. And that's what we're trying to do today, to learn about specific skills and methods we can use to increase our persuasion so that those who listen to us can adopt what we want them to. Persuasive language, by definition, is use of communication techniques to effectively communicate your ideas, influence others, and advocate for change. It involves crafting messages that appeal not only to logic and emotion, but also to credibility. And persuasion is not just used in public speaking. It's also used in advertisements, debates, opinion columns, court cases, job applications, proposals, you name it. That's why this is important for us, not only here in Toastmasters, but beyond. Before we go into the application and methods in which we can improve our persuasion, I'd like to introduce our Toastmasters, our role players, also known as functionaries. They will tell us what role they are serving as and what that entails. Our first role taker this evening is our timer. She is the Vice President Education of Downtown Toastmasters Club, who joined Toastmasters in October 2022. She remains in Toastmasters because of the continuous growth in public speaking and leadership, as well as improvement in socializing, as she is an introvert. Over to you, Jacinta, to tell us about your role.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be your timer this evening. As the timer, my role is to make sure that everybody delivers their speech or does their roles within the time allocated to them. For today's session, we have 3 sessions, main sessions, starting with prepared speeches. For the prepared speeches, we have 2 speakers who are to speak for 5 to 7 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, I will show the green card. At the 6-minute mark, I'll show the yellow card. And at the 7-minute mark, I will show the red card. For the evaluation, all the evaluators for speech, content, and delivery will take 2 to 3 minutes. At the 2-minute mark, I'll show the green card. At 2.5 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at the 3-minute mark, I will show the red card. For the speech grammar evaluator, They are to take 1 to 2 minutes. I will show the green card at 1 minute. 1.5 minutes, you'll see the yellow card, and at 2-minute mark, you'll see the red card. The same 1 to 2 minute rule will apply for the table topic speakers, and I will show the cards as I've said before. For the reports, at the end of the meeting, the grammarian will spend 3 to 5 minutes. The timer will share the report for 1 to 2 minutes, and the general evaluator will share the report within 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, and back to you, TMOD.
And thank you, Jacinta, for that timely and succinct summary of your role. Our grammarian, Erick Opon, joins us from Smart Speak Toastmasters Club. He is a polyglot and has been in the Toastmasters scene for 7 good years. Why though? It's because it has become a key part of his life. It's not the speeches and the leadership lessons only, he says. It is the people inside it who are worth every single minute spending with. Our grammarian, what's your role today?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as grammarian, it is my responsibility today to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any misuse of the English language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. It is also my duty as grammarian to introduce to you the word of the day, and I will share it on screen shortly. The word of the day is fortuitous. It is a noun meaning something that happens by chance rather than intention. Synonyms of this word include fortunate, lucky, providential. A few examples of the word in a sentence include: it was a fortuitous coincidence that I met my friend at, there's a section, at a wedding after 20 years. And secondly, even though they were late, they found a fortuitous bus at the stage. I encourage speakers to use the word of the day throughout the meeting, and when called upon to give my report, I will do so as requested. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
I remind you to always applaud for any speaker before and after they leave the virtual stage. That said, Syria, Rama, and I were fortuitously in a Toastmasters meeting yesterday, and she joins us today as the general evaluator of this meeting. She is a chatterbox and remains in Toastmasters because she loves to grow others as she grows her own communication and leadership skills. She's been in Toastmasters for 8 years now and is the Division B director. Syria, let us know what your role entails.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD, Dr. Kevin. My role this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is to be the silent observer of the meeting. I have been observing the preparedness of the team to deliver this meeting and will continue to do so until the end of the meeting, at which point I will give my report on the observations that I have taken note of during the meeting. Back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Thank you, Syria, Jacinta, and Erick for introducing your roles. Let us now delve briefly into what we call persuasive speaking before calling our first speaker. The devices used to persuade are generally called rhetorical appeals, and they were first coined by the philosopher Aristotle, and they are methods, by definition, methods used to persuade an audience. We'll begin with the first. But before that, let's introduce them. There are three main types. These are logic, or logos rather. Next, we have ethos, and last and not least is pathos. More on that later. Our first speaker this evening is Maggy Waithiru. Maggy has been a Toastmaster for the past 9 years and remains in Toastmasters because of the consistent growth and improvement as well as feedback she receives. She will be evaluated by 3 Toastmasters, the first of whom will introduce a speech. The agenda was shared in the chat. It wasn't shared fortuitously. It is because we need to know who the speakers and evaluators are. I call on Nelly Ayodo. Sorry, it's not Nelly Ayodo. It should be Felix Akonde. Dr. Felix, over to you to introduce Maggy's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. I am elated today to introduce to you Toastmaster Maggy Waithiru, who is on a second path, motivational strategies, and she's attempting a level 1 project for speech. Now, this is a second speech. She already did a first speech, and the objective of a speech today is for her to include some or all of the feedback that she was given in the first speech. She has 5 to 7 minutes, and she can choose to present the same speech as the first one. She can choose to revise the speech, or she can choose to give an entirely new speech. Ladies and gentlemen, Maggy Waithiru, the 3 C's to better health. The 3 C's to better health, Maggy Waithiru.
As I grew up, there were frequent yet kind of similar conversations that I witnessed my parents, Paul and Esther Waithiru, share. Conversations would go something like this. My dad, did you hear that Jogona's father died? My mother, what? What happened to him? My father, just like Nganga's father, Murimu wa Shukari. Murimu wa Shukari, loosely translated, is a Kikuyu term that means sugar disease. It did not occur to me that it had nothing to do with sugar until I grew up and realized that is the term for diabetes. Because I watched so many people drop sugar as soon as they were told they have Murimu wa Shukari. Over time, I saw that my parents were also making some fortuitous efforts to try and improve their health, dropping sugar and many other things. With time, type 2 diabetes became so frequent in my neighborhood, in my village in Githega, and it found its way to our home and eventually claimed the lives of both my parents in 2007 and 2016. This rather unfortunate turn of events has fueled my passion for nutrition and wellness. But I'm curious to know, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you can relate with this conversation in your homestead, at home, or even amongst your neighborhoods? Does anybody, yes, I see Ali, anybody else who's heard these conversations or even had them themselves? Where we are witnessing very many young people die because of what are termed as non-communicable diseases or lifestyle disease. Before I go any further, I want to share with you some scary statistics around where our world is today. In 2000 For 2024, WHO published these statistics, which shows that the rise in obesity and overweight is growing stupendously. You would think this is a profit we are making with our bodies, but it's not. It's putting us at risk. Why obesity and overweight? What has it got to do with lifestyle diseases? It is one of the major contributing factors. You can see in 2022, there were 43% of the adult population, 1 in 8. How many are we here today? That means 1 in 8 of us is dealing with obesity and being overweight, and sadly, might be dealing with a lifestyle disease. 43%. Compare that with 1990, which was only 25% of adult population. Then look at where our children are. We haven't left them behind. 35 million of them are dealing with obesity. And in Africa, this has increased by nearly 25% since 2000. 1990, 2%. When you look at adolescents, that's 5 to 19, they are at 22%, up from 8% in 1990. I wish these were bottom line figures for our finances. Unfortunately, it is not. This is our health. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you see the importance for us to take this matter seriously and start taking charge of our lives. I'll do that, and I'll encourage you to do that for yourselves by embracing these 3 suggestions, which I call the 3 C's to better health. The first C is curiosity. The C is conditions, and the third C is consistency. Let me expound. When I talk about curiosity, we are fortuitous enough to know that we can have immediate information from scientific studies that are valuable and credible that we can rely on. We can get information from Healthline. That my top favorite is Healthline. There is WebMD. There is the National Library of Medicine, amongst others. If you go there, you will find information as to, for example, why we are being told to stop using seed oil and corn oil and instead use coconut oil or olive oil. Why? Find out for yourself. The second C is conditions. You cannot improve these numbers. This trajectory needs to go down, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you see the urgency of it. Our conditions need to change. When you drive out, one of the first adverts you will see, and I want you to check that tomorrow, it's either fast food or a liquor store, as if they're contributing to better health. We are surrounded by such negativity around our health, but we are not aware because, well, the larger corporations have the money to lure us to sleep every now and then. But I want you to also come to your kitchen. Surround your family with healthy food. Make sure you have nutrient-rich products in the house, from the cooking ingredients to fruits, vegetables. Be very conscious of it. And the final C is being consistent. It is very easy to sleep. As I said, the big companies have the money to lure us back, left, center. We almost cannot resist. But there's something that you can do. Number 1, please remain curious. And number 2, amongst all things, you have to change the people who you work with. We are told we are the sum total of the people that we surround ourselves with. If you surround yourself with people who love to go to KFC every evening, believe you me, you will also join the bandwagon. Surround yourself with people who will be holding you accountable and help you to be a better parent, a better caregiver. As I come to a close, fellow Toastmasters and guests, remember the 3 C's. Your conditions, your curiosity, and your consistency. Consistency have to be right for you to be able to live a better life. There are 3 C's to better health. Remember them. Make them your tagline, not only today, but in future. And not only for yourself, but also for your family. Toastmaster of the evening.
Maggy has told us how 1 in 8 adults suffers from obesity. Are you among them? A link will be shared in the chat to give Maggy your feedback on her speech, as that is one of our pillars at this club. Let me just post it. It is, as we do that, feel free to give Maggy your comments in the chat, congratulating her for that informative speech that she has delivered. Our Sergeant at Arms is just about to post it. As he does so, I will go on to talk about logos, which has been demonstrated in our first speech today. Remember to give Maggy your comments in the link that has been posted by our Sergeant at Arms. I will give you a minute to do so. In case you've just joined in, we are going through persuasive techniques, specifically the 3 rhetorical appeals. You have 45 seconds to give Maggy your feedback. If you've concluded, look at the screen to remember the 3 rhetorical appeals. Ten seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Logos is our first technique, and as a rhetorical appeal, it refers to the logic, reasoning, and evidence to persuade an audience. Logos, as a fun fact, is a Greek word for word, reason, or plan. It's an appeal to the audience's intellect and rationality, providing them with logical reasons to support a particular argument or viewpoint. The fact stated by Maggy, the statistics stated by Maggy earlier was an example. Let's give 4 of these. Facts and statistics. This is verified information on numerical data used as evidence based to support or bolster arguments. For example, 1 in 8 adults suffer from obesity, or approximately 1 in 4 students admit they've cheated during an assessment. Secondly, is expert opinion. This refers to using a quote from an expert or claiming that a respected figure agrees with the argument presented. According to Professor Howard Ong, urgent action is needed to address climate change. This case, Professor Howard being a climate enthusiast. Lingo is a third example of which we can use logos to add credibility as we persuade. This is using specialized terminology or subject-specific language associated with a particular field or profession. For the lawyers in the house, like Toastmaster Samson, the defendant pleaded guilty to 3 counts of aggravated assault. This is in a court setting, not good for general speaking or colloquial examples or colloquial language. Fourth is formal language, where this refers to language that is precise, structured, and adheres to grammatical rules and conventions, pretty much being grammatically correct. It is imperative that we carefully consider the long-term implications of this decision. Fortuitously, I remember our grammarian yesterday at Lerai Toastmasters Club told us to speak as if you speak to the ear, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong. When we use language, we are not only trying to persuade people with our facts, figures, and other techniques, but using grammar to our advantage can also persuade them. Our second speaker this evening is Elvis Oluoch. Oluoch Elvis is a member of Downtown Toastmasters Club, where he's been a Toastmaster for the past 3 years. He remains in Toastmasters for the friendships and personal growth. He will be evaluated by Toastmaster Nelly Ayodo. Nelly, over to you to introduce Oluoch today.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Elvis Oluoch is attempting the project Inspire Your Audience. He is to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The objective of this speech is for Elvis Oluoch to inspire the audience. His title is Rise Above the Shilling. Elvis Oluoch, Rise Above the Shilling. Over to you, Elvis.
I had her. Okay, Mr. Toastmasters and guests. Today I am here to inspire you to dance to the drama that is the Kenyan economy. If we cannot laugh at a shilling that is dwindling faster than a politician's promises, what else can we do? Let us dive into the wild world of wallets of Kenyan citizens in the year 2025. Strap in, it's going to be a bumpy ride. First, let us set the stage. It's March 2025. The Kenyan economy can be the country and its citizens keep on climbing their own mountains. The rest of us are barely surviving. Just last week, I visited the grocery to buy kales. And to my surprise, 50 shillings for a handful of kale. I looked at the grocer and asked, "Do you import your kales from Dubai?" No, it's just keeping up to the, it does not look pretty. The value of the shilling seems to be going lower than the Wi-Fi signal in my rural home. And the price of oil seems to be running and chasing after Usain Bolt to the finish line every month. This is not good for all of us, Toastmasters and guests. But here comes the inspiration. We are not just victims in this economic bus crash, but we are the drivers. Every time the price of oil increases, somebody starts a thrift shop business, commonly known as mitumba. Every time rent increases, we become innovative with our living rooms, creating good Airbnb businesses. We are not waiting for the economy to fix itself. We are fixing it 1 gig at a time. Take an example of my cousin Juma. Last year, when the price of flour rose to 200 shillings with his frying pan and having a few hugs with the tear gas canisters, he went back home and started a chapati business.
And on that note of chapati business, we have unfortunately lost Oluoch Elvis. I confirm that he's alive. I am a doctor. It is just that his internet is choppy. We will give him an opportunity to rejoin the meeting. And continue where he left. As he does so, please let me know in the chat, why are you in Toastmasters if you are a Toastmaster? And if you are yet to join Toastmasters, what would make you join? Over to you, Oluoch Elvis. Our Sergeant at Arms has requested that we please switch off our cameras to save him bandwidth. Thank you for that, Ali. Oluoch, can you hear me?
Yes. Should I continue just from where I stopped? Sorry.
Yes, at the chapatis.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Take an example of my cousin Juma, who last year, when the price of flour rose to 200 shillings, after coming with us to the streets with his frying pan and having a few hugs with tear gas canisters, went back home and started a chapati business. And right now, he is rolling in the dough, both literally and figuratively, for the rest of us try to stretch 500 shillings across 2 weeks. Toastmasters and guests. When the economy says tighten your belt, we say yes, only restricted to the big hustlers. This also includes the woman who sells crickets at the bus stop, the motorcycle rider who knits through traffic, or the student who is coding applications in the middle of lectures. These are our economic superheroes, and they are creating lemons out of lemonades. I know you feel it too. The pinch in the budget that won't budge. When the calculations do not make sense when you're trying to pay your bills. When the math is no longer mathing. I have been there too, counting coins for a motorcycle ride. Or at the market, where I will be bargaining as if it was an Olympic sport. But here is my encouragement, Toastmasters and guests. We are tougher than this economy. Let us not be the generation that waits for the rain to stop, but let us create businesses, selling umbrellas, and hopefully with a cup of tea. Back to you, Toastmaster.
An apt topic with precise delivery. Thank you, Oluoch, for your perseverance with the internet as we persevere with the hard economic times in our country. In the same passion, we shall give him feedback using the link shared earlier. Sergeant at Arms, please repost it for the sake of those who've just joined us. We'll use the link shared to give feedback to our second speaker, Oluoch Elvis. We'll do so in 1 minute, starting now. Time is up. That note alerts us to continue with our rhetorical appeals. And the second one is ethos. Ethos is a Greek word for character. It talks about credibility, authority, and trustworthiness of a speaker or writer. Here, the speaker or writer demonstrates their expertise in the subject matter, highlights relevant qualifications or credentials, and establishes a sense of integrity and ethical character. It deals with morals and also credibility, the delicate balance between the two. Here are some examples. Appeals to ethics, testimonials or endorsements, listing credentials, and acknowledging counter-arguments. Appeal to ethics refer to the audience's, appealing to the audience's sense of right and wrong, moral standards, or ethical principles. An example, as stewards of the earth, we must take action to preserve our natural resources for future generations. What about testimonials? This refers to using statements or appeals from third parties such as customers, celebrities, influencers, or experts. One happy customer reported she lost 10 kilograms after switching to our company's healthy shakes range. Credentials, mentioning qualifications or achievements such as awards, education levels, or professional specialties. I've worked with hundreds of teenagers in my role as a clinical psychologist for the past 30 years. Lastly, acknowledging counter-arguments refers to addressing opposing viewpoints or potential objections with honesty and respect. While some argue that stricter gun laws may infringe on our rights, it's important to consider the need for public safety and the prevention of gun-related violence. These are examples of using ethos to persuade an audience. Feel free to take a screenshot as I invite our next presiding officer, the topics master. Our topics master this evening is none other than Serah Wanjiku. Serah recently joined our club, Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club, and I'm happy to introduce her today. She has been a Toastmaster for the past 3 years and remains in Toastmasters to cultivate a better version of herself. Over to you, Serah, to introduce your role and carry on with the table topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin, for this opportunity. Good evening once again. I hope all of you are well wherever you are. And I pray that wherever you are is not as hot as Mombasa is right now. So this evening, I'll be your topics master. And in case you're new in Toastmasters or the Toastmasters meeting, my role this evening is to facilitate the table topic session, which is the fun part full of adrenaline of the Toastmasters meeting. Here, guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking, and I will introduce a topic and then call on a speaker who will be given 2 minutes to speak on the subject that I will have chosen. Now, we are not cultivating lying, but you are allowed to take the truth a little bit, get into the role that I'm going to give you, and most of all, have fun. Now, if you have to lie, please don't extend past this meeting and say, Wataburuku said is okay, I can lie. No, it is just for this particular part of this meeting. Now, I will start by ambushing our general evaluator with our first question. Syria, this is to show you how much I have missed you. It's been a while since I saw you. And are you with us, Syria? Madam GE?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Now, Syria, what is the closest item next to you on your right? Lift it up so that we can see.
My mouse, if you can see it.
Your what? I can't see you. I'm being spotlighted.
Mouse. A mouse to my computer.
Thank you, Syria. You are a business lady selling, I don't know, is the plural for mouse, mice for computer? Grammarian?
Yes.
Answer me in the chat box. Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
You are a business lady and you have been given the opportunity by Wataburuku to come and sell boxes of mice this evening. Convince us why we should buy in bulk and promote your business. Over to you, Madam GE.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 10 years, I have used this particular mouse with no issues, aside from the fact that I have to buy a battery every 3 years. I tell you, the Apple Magic Mouse is a living being. It will take you gliding smoothly without you feeling the bumps on your desk, on your mouse pad, and it will click, click, click silently with no sound, no connection to your machine physically. It connects via Bluetooth. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss having this mouse. I'm telling you, it is amazing. It's nothing like you've ever experienced. All these other mice you keep buying all over the place, what a bore. They come with a little gadget that you have to connect to your computer. And not all computers these days, like mine, don't have all these slots that you need to plug in different activities. In fact, what I use is a different gadget that I'll introduce to you the next time. But for today, I am telling you, this magic mouse is something else. And it's you a mere 20,000 Kenya shillings, which I am sure by the look of the faces that I see on my screen, you can all afford. And so one box will give you 10 of these. At 20,000 shillings, I'm sure you'll be able to resell, to even share or give out to your friends and relatives, just so that they can experience that glide, that smoothness that comes along with using this magic mouse. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Madam Division Director. We are lucky to have you this evening. I'm sure after this, you will have enough people wanting to buy the 20,000 mouse to use with their computers. Our next speaker, yes, this is a speech, will be Toastmaster Samson Mark Odol. That name is just beautiful. It glides out of the mouth. So Toastmaster Samson, are you with us?
Oh yes, right here.
Awesome. You have been given the opportunity to mentor young men who are about to marry, and they are in a group that are quite confused on how to get the interest of the young ladies that they may want to make their wives. Toastmaster Samson, give a speech to these young men on how to persuade ladies and make them their wives.
We live in a time where male toxicity is at its highest. We live in a time when we hear about the endangered boy child because of the strides that have been made towards affirmative action. And so for some reason, it has permeated the mind of men that women are in perhaps a better situation than them. Women have become more economically powerful, and therefore they are intimidated by this emerging strong woman. And unfortunately, the reaction to this is that our men, and especially you young men in this generation, you've failed to step up and you've reverted to an almost primordial state where which you want to assert your dominance and bring forth your toxicity. I wish to suggest and propose for your consideration that perhaps it's a time to take it down a notch. The modern woman is a sophisticated woman. The modern woman knows exactly what she wants. The modern woman will not be persuaded by the purse in your pocket or the swollen wallet. The modern woman wants security, attention, and love. Now, you're already successful men in your right with great promise. So what you need to focus on is access to your emotion. To go old school, I remember back in our days when we loved a woman, we would copy an R&B song, add a little poetry down there, and serenade them in the smoothest of fashions. Without shame, we would take a bended knee and shed every pride in the honest pursuit of love. I'd want to encourage you to stop listening to your friends. This is ultimately a choice you have to make in your life. Find the romantic in you. Pick a poem. Check out Shakespeare. Look at a rom-com. Be foolish in love, because only fools fall in love, and only fools are able to maintain a healthy relationship. Wishing you all the best. Back to you, Madam TMOD, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samson. I am sure that is not your first time doing that speech, because Toastmaster Kevin looks very persuaded with it and was taking notes.
Incidentally, I don't believe in love, but okay.
Timer, do we have time for one more speaker? Timer?
Yeah, sorry, I was laughing at Toastmaster Samson's comment, but yes, we can only have one more speaker.
Awesome. Our next speaker will be Toastmaster Lori C. from Lerai. Yeah, I'm able to say that word. Most Kikuyu struggle with it. Toastmaster Lori?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. You're with us. Toastmaster Lori. I'm going to give you the challenge of speaking to a 3-year-old who will not eat their vegetables. And after hearing Maggy Waithiru's speech, you better be good at how that broccoli you slaved preparing for them has to be eaten. Over to you, Laurie C.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. Princess, how are you today? Do you like what I've prepared for you? Broccoli. Yes, broccoli. I have this nice recipe, darling, that I got from YouTube. Come and see. I'm gonna use butter. I'm going to fry it for you nicely. It will be crunchy. And I have what you like the most, mango juice. So what you just need to do is eat a bit of broccoli and you sip the mango juice. Sweetie, I assure you, you see how pretty mommy is? The face, it doesn't come from nowhere. It's from the broccoli. And I started eating it so young. You should ask your grandma. I even used to eat what we call in traditional name, mrenda. Trust you me, the sliminess is what pulls it down nicely through the throat into your stomach. And that one makes your eyes white. Sweetheart, you know your name is Princess? Yes, these vegetables are the only secret. Not the Nivea you see, not the Pond's you see, not the foundation you see people crowding their faces with. Broccoli, my darling, broccoli. Thank you. Back to you, Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lori, for that amazing persuasion to your 3-year-old to eat broccoli. And that's all the time I had this evening. I recap that our first speaker was none other than our GE Toastmaster Syria Rama, who convinced us to buy a 20,000 mouse. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Samson Makori, who convinced young men on a speech on how to persuade a young lady to be their wives. And our third speaker was Toastmaster Lowry C. with Beauty in Broccoli. I'm now going to call upon our timer to give us the times of the speakers, and also we will have a poll on our best speaker. Thank you, and over to you, Table Topics, or, oh, sorry, Toastmaster of the day. Oh, okay. The polls are on for the better speaker first, and then we'll have Table Topics next. I stand corrected?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, Topics Master, and our Table Topics participants for regaling us with your convincing persuasions. I was looking forward to logos and ethos, but I sense more of pathos. As we continue to vote, let me talk more about pathos. Pathos refers to appealing to the audience's emotions, values, and desires. It is a Greek word for the term suffering or experience, what someone is going through. By eliciting emotional responses such as empathy, sympathy, joy, anger, or fear, the speaker or writer seeks to create a strong emotional connection and motivate them to take action or adopt to a particular viewpoint. Let's give an example of Taste the Feeling by Coca-Cola. That emotion elicited by this nuance of tasting the feeling is what appeals to the audience. And therefore, Coca-Cola still remains in business to date. As we continue to vote for our best table topics, speaker, I will give examples of pathos. One is by using emotive language, using words with strong emotional connotations to position the audience to feel a particular way. This profound cruelty is inflicted upon helpless animals for the sake of profit. That can be an argument to derail people from killing animals, for example. Figurative language, using words or expressions that make abstract comparisons, such as simile, metaphors, personification, metonyms, and idioms. An example, as the flames of injustice rage on, we must stand together as a beacon of hope, lighting the path to a better future. Third is rhetorical question. Asking a question that implies its own answer or that the audience is forced to answer themselves. Can we really afford to ignore this problem any longer? Elvis also had a rhetorical question. Do you feel the pinch of the current economy? Lastly, a personal anecdotes. Short stories or accounts based on the speaker's or writer's own experiences or observations. For example, in my local community, I started a recycling awareness program. We'll now go on to the evaluations part of our meeting. Evaluations are at the cornerstone of Toastmasters. It is through this feedback that you get to improve. At Wataburuku Bilingual, we have 3 evaluators per speaker: a content evaluator, a delivery evaluator, and a grammar evaluator, who happens to be the grammarian. I'll call on the content evaluator to evaluate the speech, who will then hand over to the delivery evaluator and the grammarian evaluator. Our first content evaluator this evening is Felix Akonde, president of current Toastmasters Club. He has been a Toastmaster for the past 3 years and is a doctor by profession. He remains in Toastmasters to keep learning and growing. Felix will hand over to DTM to DTM Japheth Musau, who has been in Toastmasters for the past 10 years and still remains for the peer feedback. Lastly will be our Grammarian, who will hand over back to me. Over to you, Felix.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The 3 C's to a better health. I'll dive right into what I liked about Maggy's speech in the content category. I like the structure of her speech. She started her speech by introducing the main idea of her speech, and that was non-communicable diseases, and introduced it in such a mysterious way by means of a conversation she overheard of her parents talking about death and what caused a death of the members who are being talked about. And I love that she introduced diabetes, and I can't really pronounce that word the way she pronounced it in her native language. And that really got us thinking about the main topic of the day. Now, onto the body, she gave us a good background on why she wanted to talk about non-communicable diseases. She talked about her personal experience with her parents, and she gave us facts. She gave us facts. She projected and gave us a lot of facts about overweight and diabetes. And she gave us 3 things that you have to take away from her speech today. You have to be curious. We have to maintain the conditions in our environment, and we have to be consistent. And she gave a conclusion to her speech where she reinforced the main message, and that was the 3 C's. The second thing I liked about her speech is the way she enhanced its credibility using facts and figures. Did you know that 43% of the adult population as we speak is overweight, compared to 2% in 1990? That was almost 35 years ago. In children, 23% to 2%. In adolescents, 22% to 8%. That really added credibility to what she was talking about. And the third thing I liked about her speech was the overall message. And this was relatable because communicable diseases are something that all of us have to grapple with at one point or another in our life. So it really got our attention. I suggest a few areas of improvement in the speech structure. In an informational speech, sometimes we may preempt what you're going to say, 3 C's. Therefore, the audience waits for the 3 C's. But you can package it in such a way that you can keep the audience engaged. For example, you can say the 3 C's and then give the reasons why you want people to listen to the 3 C's later. For example, now you could give your facts and figures later after you've given why, after you've given your 3 C's, so that the audience has a takeaway to why those 3 C's are important. The next thing you could improve in your speech is in your conclusion, you have to have a good and impactful call to action. And the call to action, you can repeat some of the glaring statistics. Repeat 43% of the adult population is overweight, 43% compared to 2% in 1990. Otherwise, in conclusion, remember to use mystery in your speech to keep the audience engaged, have an impactful and powerful conclusion. But otherwise, I love that you had a good structure to your speech. You used facts and figures to add credibility to your speech, and you had an overall message that was relatable to everyone. I'd like to hand over to the speech delivery evaluator, DTM Japheth Musau. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Toastmaster Maggy, I love the fact that you use gestures effectively to stress your points, either to indicate direction or speed, and that was well done. Delivering your speech while standing enabled you to speak with energy, and clearly it enables the flow of air, and I really like that. I like the fact that the speaker used slides as a prop. This was a great idea to bring in some variety in the presentation, so we're not just listening or looking at you. I would recommend when you use slides, try and reduce the number of words and enlarge the font size. I don't know what font size you're using, but it's definitely below size 24. I know how size 24 looks. Try and use size 24, reduce the number of words. Where possible, use pictures because pictures are worth 1,000 words. Your vocal variety was excellent. It brought out emotions. I remember there was a sad moment. You took down your volume and slowed down. That brought out the emotion very well. You used your voice effectively. When you had these two characters, your mom and your dad, in the introductory story, you tried to vary your voice to bring out each of those characters. I observed that you tactfully used your voice to show sadness, gravity, and surprise. In one or two instances, the volume dropped to inaudibility. Try and maintain an audible voice throughout. I like the fact that you set the stage with a wide camera angle and you're set in the middle, but this gave an opportunity for you to move within the speaking area. Maybe this would have been C1, C2, C3. You're talking of the 3 Cs. You should consider lighting your background. If you notice, I have some light at the background. What that does is it separates you, the speaker, from your background and gives a better eye candy kind of sight. We see you better. You're separated from your background. You don't smudge into the background. All in all, you used wonderful dynamic gestures. You had good vocal variety. You had a wide camera angle. If you work on these few technical issues, the last one being when you're talking to your audience, find moments, especially in the introduction and in the conclusion, and when you're delivering main key points, to look straight into the camera so that you can speak to your friends behind the lens. Back to you, Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you, Japheth, for that succinct and in-depth evaluation of Maggy's delivery. My comments on the use of grammar are limited to choice. The words that you chose to employ, Maggy, were able to elicit a reaction amongst your audience. When you spoke about the disease which came into your household and with it led to your family experiencing a different turn of events, your use of grammar was, in my view, well thought out. However, there are elements in your communication that I felt you shied off from using the full impact of the words that you chose to ensure the audience would resonate more with your message. On the part where you expressed the statistics, you read out what was written, but then you did not infuse in it the impact that has on us, as you did before when you expressed how diabetes found its way to neighbors and to your family. Your grammar was well noted with the use of the word of the day appropriately applied. That will also come later in the report. However, a speech that was well written, well delivered, good use of grammar so far, nothing major to highlight as being off or done wrongly. And I do ask that you look on those parts where there was lesser impact, that you work to increase on the impact through your messaging. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, supper providers. As we say in Toastmasters, feedback is a breakfast of champions. Here we are being served supper as we are in the evening here in East Africa. Before I call on our next set of evaluators, I want to thank you for continuously engaging with each other in the chat. I know it is fortuitous that you're doing so, as the comments are ranging from grammatical pronunciation all the way to how we look on our screen. Continue to do so. Next is our second set. We will begin with Toastmaster Nelly Ayodo, who is a Vice President of Membership at Nairobi Toastmasters Club and has been a Toastmaster for the past 15 years. She remains in Toastmasters to learn something new in every session she attends. She will hand over to Dr. Lucy Manyara, Club President of Rafiki Toastmasters. She has been a Toastmaster for the past 4 years and still remains because of the continuous learning. We will then end with Erick Opon's grammar evaluation of Oluoch's speech. Over to you, Nelly.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kevin Rubia. Elvis Oluoch. Rise above the shilling. There are 3 things that I liked in your speech. I like the relevance of the topic, the speech development, and the tone of voice. Your topic was informative and up to date. The content was directly addressing our needs, so we could relate. Your information was up to date and relevant. I like the speech development of your topic. The structure was good. You had a very clear and powerful opening. And what I loved the language that you used in your speech. You used a lot of metaphors. You had beautiful metaphors like rolling in the door, not victims of the bus, fixing it on a gig. It was very well tied in to the topic you were relating. And I liked also your ending. You had a strong ending about umbrellas. We should not stop selling umbrellas when the rain starts. Challenge yourself to come closer to the screen. Your picture was very far away. We could actually see, we couldn't see your facial expressions. So that interfered with how we were relating in terms of content. It's good to see somebody when they express what they're saying. All in all, I like that you had good tone of voice. You had relevant topic and your speech development. Remember to have a call to action. That was what was lacking in your speech. May I call on Dr. Lucy Manyara to take on the next session.
Thank you, Nelly Ayodo. Rise above the shilling. Thank you, Elvis, for such a topic of interest, especially to Kenyans at this time. I'm sure we can all relate to that. So I am going to evaluate you on the delivery. So what did I love about your speech on delivery? First, you had a clear background. And this avoids the distraction that comes with a lot of paraphernalia if you had a very busy background, like what I have right now. Yours was clear. Then number 2, I loved that you had a conversation with the grocer, because when you do have a conversation with the people or with the characters, it brings out that vivid imagination of what was going on when you're buying your groceries. And then the third thing I loved is that you had a well-articulated voice. Your voice was clear, it was confident, and because you stood and therefore you were able to project, except parts of it that your internet was a bit choppy, but at least when it came on, we could hear you very clearly. So what would I have loved to see? Even if your background was clear, we could see, like has just been mentioned, your facial expression, because your lighting was behind you and not in front. Like right now, light is actually on my face. So you can see my facial expression. That's the way it's supposed to be, so that people can read your expressions. Number 2 was, I noticed a clasping of hands, especially in front like this. What I would suggest is you leave an open gesture, because then it means you're welcoming the audience to listen to your speech. And as you deliver your speech. Then number 3, when your internet came on, I noticed your movement was not strategic. So what I would suggest is to put on your characters or your various scenes in different parts of the stage. Because what this will do is that it will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One is that you will have using the stage strategically. And if you are in a physical meeting, then you'll be able to engage various parts of the audience by moving to this stage to connect with the people on that side and then the other side. So in summary, I loved that you had a clear background, conversation that you created, and well-articulated voice, strong voice. But I would have loved that you could work on your facial expression, the lighting to bring in something that you can see, work on your hand gestures, and then have strategic movements on the stage. Overall, a well-relatable topic that is well-crafted and well-delivered. Thank you. And I want to call upon Erick Opon to continue with the grammar evaluation.
Thank you, Lucy. Just an aside before I give my grammar evaluation, I have noticed that since Japheth mentioned eye candy, the lights of Lucy, Samson, and Laurie have brightened. That notwithstanding, Elvis, I think Nelly did the first part of my work by mentioning that your use of language was impeccable from the get-go. Your choice on the use of metaphors to describe the economic scenario that we find ourselves in as a nation was poignant and well chosen to align with the topic of discussion. You also spoke about the nature of the economy, giving comparisons about despair and not losing hope even when the circumstances seem uncertain or unknown. Those are some of the elements that stood out, and your choice of words, which will be given in a further detailed report that follows, was one that stood out. Unfortunately, the internet was not fortuitous and did not give you fortune today. We missed out brilliant pieces of what could have been an impeccable speech. However, I do know that I would look forward to listening to more of what you have to say, because your delivery was timely and coming at a moment such as this. It was a message worth sharing, and I implore you to continue on the same path. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
The poll has been launched to vote for the best evaluator among the 5. Please take less than 30 seconds to participate as I read some of the comments. We need a tip session on lighting. Seems one needs to strike the perfect balance between front and rear lighting. Indeed. Samson loves lights. Lights bring eye candy vibes, and Samson is full of vibes. Maggy thanks her evaluators for the feedback. we are reminded that any small water body is a pond, with the plural being ponds, by our sergeant at arms. Message to a response to the question that I asked earlier about joining Toastmasters or remaining Toastmasters. It is said that persuasion is more effective than force. Posits Samson Makori. As a lawyer with a background in litigation and competitive debate, I had been trained to use wile and intellectual force to win arguments. However, that does not work quite effectively in social engagements, particularly when in thought leadership. Joining Toastmasters has brought out a whole new side of Samson as a speaker, aiding him to be more tactful in his approach and making him an all-rounded orator. If those are not reasons enough to join Toastmasters for those of us who aren't part of it, I don't know what we can do for you. We'll go on to get feedback on our timing and how we have used grammar today. I'll start with our grammarian, Erick Opon, to deliver his report.
Many thanks, Doc. I hear that you have two of your compatriots in the room. We are well in. Medicine has been well dispensed. They say a grammar, Edgar Allan Poe, like Caesar's wife, should be free of impurities, reliable, and faithful. Today, the word of the day has unfortunately suffered the death of Caesar. Its usage was very limited, with Alligator Makori using it twice, Maggy Waithiru using it the same number of times, and the winner in its usage was our Toastmaster of the evening, Kevin Rubia, using it a record 5 times. I noted a few grammatical uses of the English language that were improper. From Elvis, when he said a colloquial expression known to us as the math is no longer mathing, I would suggest and propose that you use things are no longer working. Yes, mathematics is good, but in this case, things no longer working would apply appropriately to your cause. Our elegant, learned friend Samson Makori, when giving his poetic rendition of how love should be to a young man, mentioned an abbreviation, rom-com. I would have suggested to give the full meaning of the sentence, which is romantic comedy, for those who are unaware, to give better context, because it might be unfamiliar to many. Our topics master, Serah Wanjiku, when inviting Lori to answer the topics question, said, broccoli that you slaved in preparing. When you slave, it is accompanied by the word slave away or slave over. You could use the alternatives broccoli that you slaved away trying to prepare, or broccoli that you slaved over the stove. Besides those small blemishes, there were some outstanding uses of the King's language. Maggy Waithiru used 2 idiomatic expressions when describing tragedy, saying how diabetes claimed the lives of her parents, meaning it's what led to their demise. Joining the bandwagon or being part of the team. Numbers growing stupendously, the word stupendous to mean remarkable or at an increasing pace. And the use of irony when she gave statistics by the World Health Organization and said, we would think that is profit we put in our bodies. Very great use of irony to spread an important message on health. Alligator Makori, in introducing the Toastmaster of the day, employed the adjective indefatigable to mean relentless, tireless, or tenacious in reference to the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster of the day told us that our speeches regaled us with convincing persuasions, meaning they filled us with a lot of inspiration and moving statements, lessons, and ideas. Elvis Oluoch used irony and imagery in his opening remarks when he said we can dance at the drama of what is our economic situation. The imagination of a dance in a dramatic instance is quite enriching. And the metaphor to describe lies that our money is dwindling faster than a politician's promises infused both humor in his speech. The use of alliteration when he said, let me take you to the wild world of wallets, the W sound, and another vivid description in the use of the statement, our economy is running faster than Usain Bolt. Our general evaluator, Syria Rama, gave us onomatopoeia when she referenced the sound click, click, and click when selling us her magic mouse. Serah, in mentioning Samson's name, saying his name glides out smoothly from the mouth, quite a rich in idiomatic expression. And our laureate, our poetic debater Samson, with his poetic rendition, permeating the minds of men, our primordial state. You cannot convince with swollen wallets. You are successful men with great promise. You should shed your pride in the earnest pursuit of love, were some of the remarkable and outstanding uses of the King's language that I noted through our deliberations in the meeting. I encourage you to use this word fortuitous more in your daily endeavors, in your daily activities and workings. My task thus far complete. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
It was fortuitous that you joined us today as our grammarian, because you gave a robust and resplendent report. Before I call on our timer, I want to talk about kairos as the fourth persuasive technique. Kairos refers to the timing or opportunity of the message, emphasizing the importance of delivering the message at the right moment, just like Oluoch did today with his message. Over to our timer, Jacinta, to give us her report.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm upside down, so I'll just switch off my camera. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. I'm delighted today to give my report as the timer. Going by the sessions that we had, for the prepared speeches, we had speakers who are required to speak for 5 to 7 minutes. The first speaker, Toastmaster Maggy, spent 7 minutes and 22 seconds. That was within time. Toastmaster Oluoch Elvis spent 5 minutes and 53 seconds, also within time. For our evaluators, the evaluators for the first speaker, the speech content evaluator, Toastmaster Felix, spent 3 minutes and 45 seconds, a little over time. Your time was 2 to 3 minutes. DTM Japheth took 2 minutes and 56 seconds. That was well within time. And Toastmaster Erick Opon, 1 minute and 43 seconds within time, because your time was 1 to 2 minutes. Evaluation for the second speaker. The first evaluator, Toastmaster Nelly, spent 2 minutes and 33 seconds within time. Toastmaster Lucy spent 3 minutes and 9 seconds, which was also within time. And Toastmaster Erick spent 1 minute and 35 seconds, which was also within time. For our table topic speakers, Toastmaster Syria spent 2 minutes and 7 seconds, which was also within time. The time for table topic speakers is 1 to 2 minutes, and we give a bit of an allowance. Toastmaster Samson spent 2 minutes and 12 seconds, and Toastmaster Laurie spent 1 minute and 37 seconds, which was also within time. For our grammarian report, your time was 3 to 5 minutes. You spent You spent 5 minutes and 15 seconds, which was within time. I would like to point out that we had a delay of 12 minutes between the prepared speeches session and table topic session. Perhaps we can work better on that in future meetings. That's all. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, my Vice President of Education at Downtown, joining us all the way from the pond with her upside down timing. But your report was not upside down at all. Our general evaluator, I hope you're still with us. Are the lights back? And let us know how we can improve and what we did well.
Thank you, TMOD, Dr. Kevin. My lights are on and off, but they seem to have affected all my internet, so I've had to switch to my phone, and therefore you will miss looking at my wonderful, beautiful visage as I give my report, which is very unfortunate. But let me begin by giving my report, and I hope I have enough time and will do justice to the feedback that I am about to give. In regards to being invited to this meeting, it was quite fortuitous. I hoped it would be in Kiswahili. However, it was not this evening. The planning went on really well, and I'm sure everybody was able to receive appropriate instructions throughout the week in preparation for this meeting. We were requested to join the meeting at 6:30, of which some of us did, and we found Mr. SAA was in the room welcoming us and having good banter with those who were in the room. I loved the theme of this evening. I have learned and reminded myself of English language, vocabulary, and all sorts of persuasive use of the language from our TMOD as he went through the program. I loved the use of slides during the meeting because I love color, and that's personal to me, but it brought a pop and allowed us to look and even take screenshots at what was being shared in the meeting. So it was quite an informative meeting in terms of connecting the theme to the information that we received from the TMOD. That I think was brilliant. And Mr. TMOD, I believe you are very well versed in the information that you were sharing with us. Your introduction was done really well by the presiding officers, who I'm sure knows that we all know you. And that was great because then we're looking forward to the reason that brought us to the meeting by the fact that you were TMOD. You did a great introduction of your speakers. And I love the fact that you use a Google form to capture information really quickly that would help you introduce the speakers. The explanation of what the meeting is all about and how the meeting would be structured was also done really well. We got to know there would be 3 key areas or specific split in the meeting in terms of speeches, prepared speeches, in terms of table topics and the evaluations. I was really looking forward to what would be so different between a regular Toastmasters meeting and an advanced Toastmasters meeting, or how an advanced club holds their meetings. And I got to see a little bit of that in the preparation in terms of having more than one evaluator, which led me to think, would I be able to step up and jump into a meeting where I'm receiving feedback from 3 different people and then from the audience? But I will get to that. In regards to the in regards to the speeches and the introduction of the speeches, let me start there. That was done really well. The evaluator that was picked of the 3 to introduce the speakers was done really well, and we got to hear the speeches and the fantastic evaluations. I'm not sure how many of us managed to give feedback to the speakers through the link. Maybe that is something you can check and let us know in the next meeting. And then I think in terms of then coming back to the table topics that was well aligned to the theme. We may not have noticed it, but the questions that were asked forced us to use persuasive language, forced us to think, how do I persuade? How do I share whatever information or whatever lies, as we were told to lie? That was a good alignment to the theme of the meeting. In regards to then what wowed me in terms of the evaluation, this meeting was pregnant with a plethora of vocabulary and fantastic use of the King's English. And I noted that the three different evaluators had three different roles. So they were evaluating for content, for grammar and delivery. And I also noticed that for the two speakers, the grammar evaluator was the same as the grammarian. And I believe that was intentional. That was really great, because then the speakers got to hear chunks of information and feedback about specific areas of their speeches. And I wish we could adopt this in regular meetings, because then it will force us to be more clear, be more careful, and to listen better, to be able to give specific feedback to speakers about how they can make their delivery better, how they can improve on their grammar and use of language, and also on the content. We seem to forget that in our regular meetings and go on and give nice stories, and we struggle to look for what did not go well in that speech or what was not done well. And so splitting it in the three ways was quite appropriate, and I really love that about the meeting. In regards to the reports, I did notice that we do not have an R counter. And I believe I also picked up that the crutch words in this meeting were minimal, which is fantastic. One of the reasons I joined Toastmasters was to get rid of my crutch words. So at my club, we tend to veer towards having speeches and members use very few crutch words. And in this meeting, I notice this because that is what I love about speaking, about being able to express yourself without the use of crutch words. So that was really, really great. Now, what can you do better? I believe the one thing I would say for a 2-hour meeting, a break would be fantastic, so that we can stretch our legs or take a health break, or have some music playing, as I heard in our meeting yesterday, at some point, just to give people a chance to stand and let the blood flow through their body, or stretch and take a health break. Now, for Mr. TMOD, I did notice a bit of pauses in the beginning of the meeting, and I'm not sure whether that was because of multitasking or having to do more than one activity aside from being TMOD. But there were pauses in the beginning that seemed a bit uncomfortable. And then the other thing that I noticed is clapping. I think we're also mesmerized by all the language that was being used and the fantastic vocabulary that we forget to clap. So more clapping is required. I like to know that we're able to encourage people to clap before and after somebody takes the stage. And with that, I believe you have an opportunity to recruit people to this club. There are so many Toastmasters who are at the level at which Wataburuku is in terms of giving advanced speeches and getting advanced feedback. So my challenge to you is to recruit, as I see you have done with our table topics master. And I'm sure Wataburuku will grow and become one of those clubs we look forward to, aside from the threat of having to speak Kiswahili, even when it is our mother tongue, like for some of us. And with that, I come to the conclusion of my report and hand the baton back to you, Mr. TMOD.
Let us unmute and clap for all of us in this meeting. I have enjoyed myself. It's been long since I laughed till my voice went sore, my throat went sore rather. And I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I hope you also have. To conclude our theme today, the 4 pillars of persuasion are, the pond is affecting me. The 4 pillars of persuasion are logos, ethos, pathos, and kairos. Let us use ethos to establish credibility, pathos to evoke an emotional response, logos to provide logical support, and kairos to ensure the message is delivered at its appropriate time. Understanding and effectively using these modes can enhance the persuasiveness of arguments and strategies. I have been your Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you for your active participation. I now hand the meeting back to our Sergeant at Arms and Presiding Officer, Ali Makori.
A big applause to Dr. Kevin Rubia, TMOD par excellence. Yes, now we know that persuasion is a science. What a fantastic, fortuitous serendipity of meeting such a galaxy of star communicators. And it comes together in an advanced club such as Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club. I know we are short a little bit on time, but not too short to give 30 seconds to the remaining guests that did have an opportunity to speak. There is the one who somebody has seditiously, and there is a better word than seditiously that I wanted to use, but it appears at the moment that I need it. They have claimed that she's in the pond. Jacinta Muriithi, welcome. Thank you for your service as the timekeeper. And I would like to know, not whether you are in or out of the pond, but where you're joining us from, and welcome you to come again and again to Toast to the club, Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali. I'd like to confirm that I'm safe and sound and not in a pond, but I would love to go for swimming at this moment. I'm glad to have been here. It's not my first time to visit Wataburuku. I always enjoy the meetings because they're different from what we normally have, and there's always something to learn. And I also enjoy serving whenever that chance comes. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you very much. Toastmaster Thomas Njue. Welcome on set, and say hi and tell us where you're from and how you found the meeting.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Thomas Njue. I'm from Blue Eagles Club. It's a corporate club under Stanbic Bank. It's good to see Syria here. I know I've been out under the radar in terms of Toastmasters, so this is actually my first meeting in a long time. So I decided, let me visit here and see how it is. Thank you.
Fantastic. And now you have come at the point of learning the art of persuasion. Go and use that art. Faith Owiti, is Faith Owiti still with us? Faith Owiti is not with us, but we have Augustine Matthew. Augustine Matthew? Are you able to unmute and say hello and tell us how you found the meeting? Augustine. It appears that we are not able to communicate with Augustine. However, ladies and gentlemen, A club is made up of people, just like any organization, people that have come together for a common purpose, and this is a quest for excellence. Even if you are a member of another Toastmasters club, we welcome you as a dual member of the Wataburuku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club. It's been a long time since we had a Kiswahili speech. I promise you, we will shop around for a Kiswahili speech in the next meeting, number 112. I can see a thumbs up. I don't know whether we already have a volunteer. We will find out behind the tent later. I want to thank you all for making it to this meeting. It's been wonderful. It's been a learning experience. Now, who are our champions? Let me see if I can flight the results of your vote. Heartfelt congratulations to our winners. Very well done, very well done. And I hope the music was audible. Finally, we were encouraged to have some music. So very well done, our champions. Your certificate is on the way. Samson Makadol, Japheth, and Maggy. Well, very well done, very well done. Any announcements? We are 2 officers of the club today. Dr. Rubia is our vice president membership, and I know he has some communication. This is that time of the year. Over to you, Dr. Rubia, in your new role, in your EXCO role now, not as TMOD.
Thank you, Ali. Please join us. I hope you found value today through pathos, ethos, logos, and kairos as an example. This is an opportunity for those of us who have been in Toastmasters for a while to give back and to spread the love and the looks, as some of us are eye candy. Join us as members. For those of us who are members, let us renew, as it is time to renew. And back to you.
Absolutely. Very well put. Nothing to add from my deck. I'll be very happy to receive your renewals. You can do it online. You can do it by submitting the funds, and we do it for you. As an online club, we charge you nothing extra above what Toastmasters International requires. We really look forward to receiving you officially as our club member. We will have an induction in the next meeting, number 112. I look forward to having more than the 2 inductees that we have lined up. Thank you all for making this meeting a fantastic celebration of language, of knowledge, of feedback, of camaraderie, and everything that fortuitously became a part of this Friday evening. No better place would there have been to be except here on this virtual platform, virtual stage of Wataburuku Advanced Bilingual Toastmasters Club. And now I want to allow you 1 minute to enjoy association, and even you can stretch it a little more with a background of some music. We can stop recording. and enjoy some company.